put on the other light. What's up, my YouTube family? This is your host, Aaron here. Y'all bear with me. I am setting up real quick. Just got me a drink. My throat's a little dry, so forgive me if my voice gets a little cracky and stuff. Not 100% at my best, but I feel like I have to get this message out to a lot of people, and also to help people understand who I am and what I represent, right? Because if people are not in tune with certain things that I say, they can easily misunderstand me, right? And one thing I don't want people to think is that I'm just this guy that's arrogant and I look down on people. I don't do that. On this channel, I'm all about self-improvement. And so when people come here, they will have their eyes open to a lot of things that they do that is considered low vibrational, right? But tonight is also an understanding of the realm that we live in, because I like to talk, about where we live because it's important, right? So y'all bear with me. I have some scriptures. Basically, tonight we're going to talk about, do you know how many enemies you have defeated? Or do you realize how many enemies you have defeated? And also, we're going to talk about self-improvement, right? Now, I'm going to go on a esoteric spiritual talk with you guys. Everything is going to come from a higher source. This is all straight spiritual and a deep understanding of the realm that we live in, right? Let me get another sip. See, Earth is a lot bigger than they try to portray it to be. There are a lot more continents. There are a lot more creatures here on this plane, right? This section that we're in right now, we are sectioned off, aka quarantined. This is why they call it the dome or the firmament. Basically, it's just one big container to contain. I think personally, it was used to contain certain extraterrestrials in and not let them out, because this part of the realm has been tainted by so much negative energy that it was sealed off for a time in the season. But there will come a time where the firmament will open, right? There will come a time where the firmament will open, and that time may be soon. That time may come later on in the future. But overall, this realm has been quarantined off because there are many different evil species of what you considered extraterrestrials that are still running things. They try so hard to escape the containment, right? But they fail a lot of times, right? So, like I said, this is all spiritual stuff. Now, why am I saying all this? From the time you was born into this quarantine zone, right? We have been up against so many enemies that we don't even realize. Some people we've had to deal with, we're not human at all. Some will call them NPCs, some will call them reptiles, some will call them grays. These things feed on the negative energy of the people, right? And so you and me and a lot of other chosen ones had to fight through so many years of being singled out and targeted by people. A lot of times were empty vessels being used, And sometimes these were real deal shape shifting. That's I'm gonna use that word for tonight because there's a lot more to it. But extraterrestrials. Let me tell you a story, right? This guy in 2016, he was a U.S. Marine, a veteran. He left the Marine Corps. Was at a church. His pastor, he said his pastor was a reptilian. So he shot the pastor in the head, shot the pastor in the torso. 2 weeks later, the pastor came back out like nothing happened. Now, what happened to that Marine? I don't know, right? But what I'm telling you all tonight is the best way I can explain it is we were never alone. We are not all normal, should I say? Everything is controlled. Um, and for us to be here in this quarantine zone, it has to be for a reason because this is one of the most challenging places to be, is amongst other entities that feed on people's negative emotions. When they train you up to uh get a job and make money and have the glamorous things, when you don't achieve that and you feel down, and they the ones that flaunt it in front of other people, right? This is the stuff that they feed on, you know. That's why some people say social media, you shouldn't really look at social media or other people on social media because you don't know what people do on social media to have certain things, right? Half of that stuff could be rented. They could have sold out for it. You know, you never know. They could have joined some lodges, you know, or they could be some sort of rich family bloodline that you don't know about, right? And so, as a chosen one, you have to understand that the time you was in this quarantine zone, you had to go up against a lot of different evil demonic entities. I mean a lot. A lot. Being a light in this part of the realm that we call Earth is no easy task, right? The question is, why would the Creator seal its children in this realm? Because the truth be told, and I'm just say it plain as day, there may come a time where we're gonna have to clean up the realm. This part of the realm, we may have to clean it up. I'm not sure how it's gonna happen, you know. But a lot of this stuff is, a lot of stuff I'm telling you all is spiritual. Because I had to sit down, I had to think, and I thought about a lot of things that I've been seeing and a lot of experiences that I had throughout my life, and it made me realize that the spiritual warfare that we've all had to face, you know, even now to when people used to give me the narcissistic stare and people used to target me and things like that. It's like, as chosen ones, you have to understand, you have to really be on guard, be aware, because, in moments of peace, enjoy them, but it's just the moment you step out in public, you are walking amongst them, right? And as soon as they notice you or anything like that, be aware, because they will try to concoct something in their head to try to do something. I'm not saying to be afraid, but understand where you're at. Understand where you're at. Okay? That's all I'm saying. You know, this world that we live in, at least this part of it, has so many evil entities. You got demonic entities, you got grays, you got reptilians, you got NPCs, then you got cryptids, lab experiments. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's so many things that will target the average normal human being. you know. And so, now some people may listen to this like, nah, I don't believe in that crap, uh, extraterrestrials ain't real and things like that. They may say, they're going to say whatever they want to say, right? And that's their opinion. But for those who actually understand where I'm coming from, you will understand that this realm is quarantined off, right? That's why it's difficult for us to actually venture out and go to different unknown continents and things like that, you know. So all I'm saying is be aware of what realm you in and try to remain in gratitude. I'm not saying that you should just remain broke or struggling. That's not what I'm saying at all. All I'm saying is understand that you are up against a lot of evil here. This is not some normal type stuff. It's legions, it's armies, it's different species. You understand? I've even shook hands with a few of them before, you know? And when you study up on these things and you understand what they're capable of, right? Then you'll learn how to maneuver different because the information is out there, right? And so, you know, but overall, so far, you had to overcome a lot of enemies, and that's something to think about. But you always have to be aware of where you're at. It's so many of them, and they're everywhere. All right, they're everywhere. All right, let me see. Let me see the comments. Wook of Wall Street. Have you ever tried meditating in public? It almost teaches you self-defense. Well, I like to meditate away from the public. I like to meditate in solitude. That's just me. Edith Smith. Why is it that chosen ones need to endure these unfamiliar spirits? From what I'm understanding from the spiritual download that I'm getting right now, and if I'm wrong, please forgive me, but this is what I'm seeing. When you come here as a chosen one, you are going to go through basically I can call it a rites of passage. It is a rites of passage. This is probably one of the best ways to evolve into higher realms, as long as we don't engage in a lot of low vibrational activities, as long as we try to maintain our diet a proper way. The name of the game is evolution, and besides, people say they want to go to heaven and they want to be with God and all this other stuff. When you're dealing with higher ranking level spiritual beings, they vibrate so high, you will lose yourself being around those type of entities. You have to be prepared for those kind of realms. That energy is so powerful. I've experienced it myself. Even I can handle it for like 2-3 minutes. It was that powerful. And so while we're here, we have to grow through these kind of things, but also spiritually, like I might throw out the Hopi prophecy or the Rainbow Children prophecy. The chosen ones have to be the ones that's more likely gonna have to clean up this realm. We see how messed up life is. You see how messed up it is every day. How people are depressed, struggling, more people losing their homes, more people losing their jobs, and some entity just keeps raising the price, and his little henchman is like, nope, if you can't afford it, get your ass out the apartment, get your ass out that condo, we'll kick your ass out on the street. So many people sleeping in their cars, and this is normal. What's going to happen where things is going to be so high that it affects everybody except the rich? See, a lot of us are holding on because paycheck by paycheck, we learning how to budget. But what if the budget gets smaller and smaller and smaller? These are the kind of evil entities that you're dealing with, right? And so these are things we have to be aware of, right? Eventually, we may have to clean up this realm, y'all. We may have to clean up this realm. I'm probably the first who ever spoke on this, or maybe we won't have to. But while we're here, we have to grow because, like I said, people say, oh, how come like the high ranking angels and stuff won't come down and chill with us? They are too powerful. Their presence alone, like, it'll probably bust our brain. Like you think it'll probably bust a blood vessel in our brain just to hang around them. They are that powerful. Their energy is that strong. You feel me? And so these are things we have to be aware of. We have to understand the enemy that we're dealing with. Okay? The game is rigged, y'all. The game is rigged. Okay? That's all I'm trying to say. The game is rigged. And when you understand that, you won't get caught up in trying to keep up with other people and flashy stuff. And if you have it, cool. If you don't, just accept that because this system is getting worse and worse. It's getting crazier and crazier. People are getting crazier and crazier. But what I want to acknowledge tonight is you have to acknowledge how many things you've overcame. You have to acknowledge how many people you've overcame. Because half of the time those weren't people. Those were negative entities. Okay, some of these bosses and people in power, they're not human. Look, there was a thing on there's videos on TikTok where this the head of Boeing, he was sitting in front of some dude. I don't know who that guy's name was, but he was getting grilled because he got a 45% increase on his salary, while his workers at the bottom at Boeing only got a 1% increase. And the guy asked the guy from Boeing, like, are you proud that you're doing this to your workers? He was like, I'm very proud of what we're doing. Mind you, Boeing has been having all kinds of malfunction issues when it comes down to their airplanes, right? But this guy's mindset, oh, I'm proud of what we're doing. Yeah, you're proud because you're making 30-something $million while your workers barely get a 1% raise. The game is rigged, y'all. The game is rigged. And when you understand that, you don't stress about the things you don't have. I'm not saying you should be poor and sleep in nature and stuff, but you know, when you get to that level, you're not dealing with regular people. You understand? Okay? You're not dealing with regular people. Even at some of the jobs that I had, I wasn't dealing with regular people. Even some of the customers I dealt with, I knew they wasn't regular people, man. You know? This realm has been quarantined off from other realms. Earth is way bigger than we can even imagine. There's a lot more continents, a lot more islands, and a lot more creatures. Okay? This part has been quarantined off. And I'm not sure how long ago that was, but it's for a reason. Now, while we're here, we have to evolve. We have to grow. Unfortunately, if you're a chosen one and you have the light, you will be up against so many different things, so many different creatures, so many different demons. You're going to deal with a lot of jealous, hating people. You know, you're going to deal with people who just pretty much unstable, unhinged. They purposely try to get in your way and try to stumble you and mess you up. Your own family would do this to you. And I say that all the time. You know what I'm saying? But listen, let me go to the next subject about self-improvement. Now, on this channel, I will say things that will pinpoint a lot of things that people are doing wrong. For example, smoking and drinking, right? Talking negative about someone, or basically talking shit. That's what it's called, talking shit. Sleeping around a lot, hanging around a lot of low vibrational people, doing low vibrational acts. I'm going to talk about these things on this channel because this channel is about self-improvement. Yes, I can talk about the narcissists all day long. Yes, I can. But at the end of the day, we are required to improve. Now, you got some people out here who got way bigger following than me that's telling people, oh, if you smoke and you drink and you sleep around, do you. Do you. That's not somebody who really cares about you. If you're gonna tell somebody, do you, if you smoke and drink, do you, I'm gonna tell you, you need to put the drink down. You need to put the smoke down. There's people out there who got caught up with substance abuse and got trapped in that cycle of wasting days in their life. You're not doing anything productive or positive when you high all the time and you drunk all the time. I know what it's like to be in that state of mind, because there was times where I was so damn drunk, stumbling, throwing up in different places, okay? Throwing up in the back of somebody's car, throwing up in the bathroom. So damn drunk I can't even stand up in the shower when I'm taking a shower. This is who you looking at. So I'm not going to tell you to do you when it comes down to smoking and drinking and talking shit and hanging around. You know, if you want a peaceful life, the thing is you have to get rid of negative habits. You have to change your diet. You can't be eating pork and seafood, right? I'm going to talk about these things, okay? These are the keys to improvement. Meditation is good. Semen retention for the men, you know, do your best, you know. But as far as like drinking, smoking, hanging around, doing a bunch of negative stuff, wasting time, not doing anything with your life, not anything positive, how are you impacting people in a positive way? You know, you should ask yourself that question, right? So this is what this channel is all about. It's all about self-improvement and helping people elevate themselves spiritually, and also identifying who's toxic around you so you don't have to put up with that. I am encouraging people to muster up the strength to stand up for themselves, to do better for themselves. I don't care if it's your mama, your daddy. I talk about it all the time. Y'all have to let that go when it comes down to family if they ain't right. As much as you love them, you have to be willing to let them go. Sometimes you got to set people free and let them learn the hard way, right? And love them from a distance. Because if they're not taking the time to improve themselves, this is why if you the type that constantly keeps going back to the narcissist for sex, because I'm going to talk about that too, because that's part of my self-improvement plan. If you the type that keeps going back to the narcissist for sex, you have no reason to complain about why the narcissist is doing this and still doing that to you. Some people go back to the narcissist and get pregnant by the narcissist. You know, it's just crazy, right? We have to break out of being addicted to pain. We have to break out being addicted to suffering. Okay? We have to break out from being addicted to salty, low vibrational foods. You know, when I learned about how bacon, even turkey bacon, sausages, all those stuff is processed meats, and processed meats and sodas can cause cancer way faster than any other foods. Okay? Did you know that? Okay? But some people are not going to understand me because I talk about self-improvement. What can you do to improve yourself? If you've been working out, you've been watching your diet, you've been avoiding toxic places and toxic people, kudos to you. You've been praying, right? Kudos to you. You are doing an amazing job. You are self-improving. Doesn't life feel better when you're doing things to help improve yourself, to improve your health? Shoot, even improve your wealth, you know? Right? That's what I do on this channel, right? I could talk about the narcissist all day long. We know the narcissist gonna do what the narcissist gonna do. You can't change that. You can't rehabilitate that. And if you keep going back to that, you're wrong for that. Okay? And don't expect me to pacify you when you get pregnant or have a baby by this person. Right? I'm not that guy. If you want to listen to somebody talk about the narcissist all day long, go to them other channels. They'll talk about the narcissist all day long. But me, I'm going to talk about self-improvement. I'm going to talk about spirituality. I bring awareness to a lot of things, not just narcissism. All right? Now, if you like that kind of content, hit the like button, subscribe. There'll be more on the way. Just know that you're doing a great job. You overcame a lot of enemies. You overcame a lot of haters. Okay? This is who you're looking at. I overcame a lot of hating ass people, man. People that was so possessive, that wanted to steer my life in the direction that they wanted it to be. And I had to take my power back and steer it in my own direction. And this is why I'm here on this channel, helping many people worldwide. So shout out to the people in the UK. I think it was a brother from San Diego. There was a dude from the Netherlands last time I checked. You know, there was a dude from Australia. You know, shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to those in New York, California, Chicago, wherever y'all at, man. Wherever you watching from. Shout out to y'all, because you all are doing the work. You all care. You all understand what I have to say. And I'm thankful for that. You know, I'm very thankful for that. Understand how beautiful you are, but understand the kind of enemies you're dealing with. You're dealing with demonic forces. You're dealing with greys. You're dealing with reptilians. True, there's even some that say you're dealing with insectoids, cryptids, right? This is a far more dangerous realm than people realize, right? Because of the level of control that it has over so many people's souls, man. This is why you can't beat yourself up for not having this and not having that. The game is rigged, y'all. The game is rigged. This is why practicing gratitude and embracing what you do have, it'll keep you aligned in your space of peace. It'll keep you aligned in your space of peace. And when you do have more, when you start gaining more, the better for you. Right? So and also in terms of self-improvement, don't get jealous about what somebody else got. You know, don't get jealous about what somebody else got. If it's their time, it's their time. Okay? There's people out there that are jealous of Jacob Rothschild because he's a trillionaire. Some people are jealous of the Rockefellers because they billionaires and trillionaires. Okay? If they got all that money, what are they doing in a positive way to help other people? Absolutely nothing. Why? Because they are the problem, not the solution. You understand? They feed on the suffering. They relish in the fact that they have a lot more than other people, and they'll still do more to get more off of the backs of us here on the ground. You know, and the truth be told, I'm just going to throw it out there. You can't be human if you don't have empathy. Okay? You can't be human if you don't have empathy. So what if somebody got trillions of dollars and billions of dollars? Do they have empathy? Do they empathize with you in your struggle? See, I empathize with you in your struggle. I understand, but also about self-improvement. Okay? So y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed the message. Let me read the comments. Any books on the subject? Edith, you have to type in the firmament. The Bible talks about the firmament as well. You can look up videos online about the firmament, the dome, the quarantine zone, and you'll find a lot of information, especially on TikTok. Zachary Bethune, good to see you. Yeah, facts, right, Zach. Edith says, can you get rid of these spirits through prayer and fasting? Prayer and fasting, like right, E-Baby's already on it. Fasting and praying does strengthen the spirit to better face spiritual warfare. That's basically what it is. Basically, to strengthen your aura, because everybody has an aura field, fasting and praying is a good way. Some like you can do a 3-day water fast, which is very challenging for a lot of people. Or you can do a 30-day fruit and veggie fast with water, which is very challenging because when you've been used to eating chicken, beef, and stuff all the time, most people can't make it that far without having a taste of, you know, look, you talking to somebody who struggled with that, okay? But when you fast and pray, you are getting rid of so many impurities within your vessel. And when you're eating light foods like veggies and fruits, you're improving your creativity. It's like your body starts to repair a lot of things that's wrong with you internally. Fasting swallows up so many impurities in the gut, right? That's why when you fast, let's say you go on a dry fast or you just go on a water fast, all of a sudden you could eat nothing all day. All of a sudden you pooping, because fasting helps remove any residue or toxins in your digestive tract, right? It swallows up any impurities in your body. It's just that it's very challenging to do, especially for men. It's a challenge that I would present to the men. Go on a 45-day semen retention and then go on a 30-day fast. Man, you're going to see, but it's challenging because you're going to go through a lot of psychic attacks. If you've watched porn and you have images in your head, the enemy's going to use those images against you. So you have to, this is really the battle of your willpower. You understand? It is the battle of your willpower. But if you do that, man, I'm telling you, you can heal yourself from a lot of things within 30 days to 45 days just by changing your diet and fasting and praying. It's amazing. And you'll lose weight too. It's amazing. It really is. Zachary says so much better. Right, Zach. So does anybody have any questions? I know we discussed a lot tonight. I hope I didn't offend anyone with any of my videos. I hope you all can see that I'm all about self-improvement and helping the majority to elevate overall and to be aware of their surroundings. I hope y'all can see that, right? But listen, I love y'all. Do y'all have any questions? Anybody got any? That was a good question, Edith. Yeah, there's nobody else. Yeah, listen. Oh, Cash G said, what do you think about the Majestic 12? You know what? I have to research that. I can't give you a definitive answer. I've heard about it. I just wasn't sure what it really is. But listen, y'all. Edith says, this is the first time that I ran across your channel. I was educated. I enjoy it. God bless. Hey, thank you, Edith. I appreciate that. If you like that kind of stuff, subscribe. There will be more in the future. All right. But listen, I love y'all. Y'all please be safe. And we'll talk again, y'all. We'll have these talks again. All right. Bye-bye now.